be perfectly honest, I thought he'd run for it the moment he saw us, make himself scarce before it was too late. He must have seen us coming, heard us at any rate, what with all that noise we made when we were marching into the garden. He must have known the game was up, the writing was on the wall, long before that so-called friend of his singled him out. But he just stood there, watching, waiting, almost as though he wanted it to happen, as though he was relieved to see us. Yet, it wasn't that simple. In fact, even now, years later, it's still a mystery, a puzzle I'm constantly trying to unravel. You see, in some ways, he was just a man, that Jesus, like you or me, with all the emotions you'd expect to see. Fear, despair, hurt. Yet, there was more. Feelings I didn't expect to see. Emotions that made no sense. Peace, assurance, expectation. He looked at that snake Judas, and there wasn't hate in his eyes such as I would have felt. There was love. He looked at us, and there wasn't that usual mixture of resentment and contempt. There was understanding, forgiveness, even pity. And when one of his followers tried to make a fight of it, whipping out his sword and hacking off one of my men's ears, he didn't laugh or gloat. He reached out and healed the fellow right before our eyes. I wish we could have more like him, I tell you. A welcome change from the usual rabble we have to deal with. He seemed harmless enough. Likeable, in fact. Not at all like the villain they made him out to be. But orders are orders. I was just doing my job, that's all. And I suppose he must have done something to deserve his fate. So he marched him away, off to Caiaphas, off to Herod, off to Pilate, off to the cross. He could have made a run for it, I'm sure of that. And when I saw what they did to him, I almost wished that he had. Yet he didn't run, and I don't think he ever would have. For looking back, it still seems to me, strange though it may seem, that it wasn't us in the garden coming for him, but he who was waiting for us.